Dr. Gregory Jantz is a best-selling author of over 45 books and the founder of the Center A Place of Hope, voted a top 10 center for depression treatment in the U.S. As the pioneer of whole-person care, Dr. Jantz is known as the messenger of hope. Now the nation's expert on anxiety, depression, substance abuse, relationships, trauma, and PTSD, here is Dr. Gregory Jantz.
Hi, it's Dr. Greg Jantz, founder here at the Center Place of Hope. And burnout is real. We're living in a season of extreme burnout. What's burnout? What's it look like? When I talk about whole person care that we began back in the early 80s, what do I mean by whole person care and burnout? So I did do the little mini book, because when you're burned out, you just need to know, what do I need to do? Because concentration's down and ability to really implement action steps is a struggle. And I just want to acknowledge that. If you've gone through a period of chronic stress, and I mean chronic stress that has you heavy weighted, and some stressors we create, other stressors are outside of ourselves, like loss of a loved one, loss of a job. Those things can be chronic stressors, or a job that is stressful, or a home life where there could be a lot of toxicity, and living in a toxic people environment can create a great deal of burnout and chronic stress. Think of it this way. On a continuum from mild stress, which we all have, to moderate, to extreme stress that is unrelenting. It's not stopping. And then from there, you move over into this burnout zone. When we're stressed out, all of us just keep going. But what do we do? What's a whole person approach look like? And let me just say, burnout takes a toll on the body. I had a season of extreme burnout. I had a season where there was weight gain, there was immune system suppression, there was digestive issues, headaches, sleep disturbances. Burnout will have a physical implication. And it sometimes is easy just to think, oh, this is all in my head. If I just change something, I'm going to be okay. Changing something might be important, but it's important to look at the whole person. Burnout can push us in a stage of spiritual isolation. We can feel unlovable by others, unlovable by ourselves, and unlovable by God. And the spiritual side is, of course, my bias. I believe we need to look at the whole person, our relationships, what's contributing, our emotional well-being, what's contributing, our physical health, what's being impacted or contributing. You see, when you're burned out on that physical side, when digestion is affected, we may see gut issues, and our gut, which sometimes is referred to as our second brain, communicates and sends certain very important chemicals and neurotransmitters to the brain via a nerve called the vagus nerve. So the two brains, the gut and the brain, communicate a lot, and we know that there is a highway between the two that's super important. Isn't that interesting that the gut's considered the second brain? All right. Couple things I've made notes of to be sure to look at when you're feeling burned out. What's the whole person approach look like? One of the things we need to remember, our body is made up of 50%, 60% water. Water. Have you ever thought about the body being so full of water? So the intracellular water, and you know this because when you lose weight, what'll happen is, first, maybe it feels like some water loss, which is some weight loss, and it feels a little encouraging. And then you hit the next plateau. Well, hydration. Let's just put that number one on the list. Staying hydrated is critical. Now, I've got right over here, I have my water. Okay. So I have a goal. I have to have it on my desk every day of drinking so many bottles of water. And if I don't start mid-morning and finish by afternoon, maybe mid-afternoon, it just doesn't happen. Water, hydration, improves mood, helps blood pressure, and will help even with concentration. So just remember those three things. Concentration improves mood, blood pressure. So it is just absolutely critical. And it's one thing we can do. You feel like I don't have the energy to do anything else. We'll replace every other cup of coffee with a bottle of water. But get the water in. Start earlier in the day. None of these is a single solution, but they're all critically important as we begin to nurture ourselves back through burnout into feeling more restored, rested, and renewed. Now, I always say clean water, filtered water, but even with mild depression, because we forget to drink our water, even with mild depression, water can be super, super helpful. So let's do this. All right. Number 2. Now, if you're stressed out and you're burned out, you tend to skip meals and then overeat later. I want us to make sure, and I know it's fundamentally basic, but I want us to have the breakfast with a source of protein every morning, preferably catching that breakfast within that first hour of being awake or as soon as you can, but always start the day with protein. You may not feel like it, so maybe you're going to revert to a protein drink, a good one. We created one that we use here at the Center Place of Hope, a good protein drink. So let's please look at what do we need to do in order to fulfill a protein and water requirement in the day. Now, we can talk about, fruits, vegetables, and nutrition. That may seem totally overwhelming because fast food, when you're burned out, is the easiest. Start with the protein in the morning, get the water in, and determine what's my goal. Well, my goal is 7 to 8 bottles of water a day. Now those were smaller bottles of water. What do we have here? How many ounces? 16 ounces. So having the water and the protein, and then here's the thing: we tend to go too long without eating when we're burned out, and then we just might have a tendency to binge eat, overeat, etc. Just begin. Think about it. This is what I had to do. I'm just going to make baby steps, but every day I'm going to make good choices. I'm not going to worry, okay, what's just the healthier choice? French fries or the salad? I sure would love the French fries. I'm going to go with the salad. Okay, just it's a forcing yourself. It is. But we got to do that. Okay. Now, in my little book, I talk about other nutrition factors and the important role of the healthy fats and, the fish, the eggs, and the proteins that are super important. Look, it will help balance blood sugar levels. And that's what we want to begin to do. Brain power, blood sugar levels, and nourishment for the gut. It really does help. Now, I've got to get moving. This is the next thing. I got to get moving. I'm burned out. I have zero energy. Look, always do blood work with your physician, your healthcare provider. But man, am I low in vitamin D? I need to have my blood work checked. Our hormonal levels way off. Cortisol, is that way up? So just having a base, what's going on in my body, and blood work can really be a motivation. Because then 6 months later, you can do it again and see, whoa, I am making a difference. So that's one of the things we do at the center with our doctors is we want to know what's the baseline, what are we doing there? And this is also why we do IV nutrient therapy. It's really growing in popularity. You'll see it more and more, but the IV, it's called IV nourishment. Maybe it's you're depleted, you're burned out, you need some B vitamins. And so one of the things that we do, or our doctors do, is the IV nourishment, IV nutrient therapy. Just a huge difference. It's like putting jumper cables on. It can make such a huge difference. All right. Back to the movement. The last fellow that I remember working with who said, I am so over the top burned out, was moving slow, lots of aches and pains, lots of binge eating. And, we got him outside and just, we're going to do a short walk. And, really going around the block took some time. And it was slow moving. But every day we would work on the movement. I can tell you the movement, and you start slow, make sure that, again, there's any concerns, there's medical clearance, but it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're looking at a 3-month, and we're going to get to 6 months with burnout, because at that 6-month mark, you really start to notice a difference. You go, I can't wait that long. You'll notice a difference starting doing some of these things in the first 30 days, but it's cumulative, and it's going to make a difference, real big difference over time. So then I wrote down here endorphins, serotonin. Serotonin is manufactured in the gut. Dopamine is manufactured in the gut. And we know that those have a lot to do with mood, sleep for serotonin, so important. If you're burned out, you just body may be struggling with those. That's why we talk about the mind-gut connection, the prebiotics and the probiotics. Prebiotics feed the good bacteria in the gut. And think of prebiotics. It's usually fibers that help support that healthy gut bacteria. And, you see probiotics, you hear a lot about them, and you can buy those and use those. And actually, we want to do all we can, because burnout does affect the gut. We want to do all we can to supply the gut with the healthy bacteria, help improve digestion. The gut's manufacturing, we hear of 90% of the serotonin and dopamine for the brain. Remember, it's going to travel up via the vagus nerve. It's super important we have that healthy gut. Usually when you're burned out, the digestive system, the GI tract, is the first one to get stressed out. So we want to keep working on the gut. It sounds funny, but, the water, the probiotics, all of that, part of a strategic plan. Really, I know you feel like having that half gallon of ice cream, but cutting out, nighttime can be the most difficult. Tired, sometimes hungry, weary, anxious, and then you've got the gut craving. You feel like, man, I'm craving sugar. And so, again, always go to the water first. And any craving, drink water or a protein drink and delay. Just tell yourself, I'm going to wait 15 minutes and see what 15 minutes does. Waiting. Most of the time, I've noticed that people will go, no, I'm not going to go eat that half gallon of ice cream. And you're able to delay an impulsive decision. All right. Again, I can't overstress when you're stressed out, the importance of supporting the gut. So do all you can there. And I want to mention sleep. Sleep is huge. I used to work in a sleep research laboratory, and I will tell you with sleep apnea, where you stop breathing, or waking up frequently during the night, and you're not really cycling through those sleep stages as you need to, that is really important that we get restorative sleep. It may take a while. Sometimes we need to look at what's going on. Am I on my device or my screens right up to bedtime? Is there things I'm doing that are overstimulating my brain before I go to bed? Do I need to have a journal where I write down all my concerns and tell myself that I'll pick them up in the morning? Sometimes we need to write things down. Do I need, there's something I do, got it right here in my drawer, the 3x5 cards. Do I need to write, for some, writing a verse could be super helpful. And it's the last thing that's going to be put in my mind before I go to sleep. Sleep is affected by our diet, our nutrition. Sleep is, you may feel like, man, I just want to sleep, and it can be an escape. And you can feel, I can't face the next day, and you want to stay in bed. We get in the habit of postponing going to bed, postponing going to sleep. So having the same sleep time, approximately, travel throws things off, but having a pattern of the same, of what I call sleep hygiene, the sleep same times, approximately, and do the same routines, the nighttime routine. One thing I want to mention on sleep, I know it sounds simple, but a very dark room. All right, when I travel and you turn off the lights in a hotel room, and there's the light on the ceiling, there's the light on the TV, there's all these lights. And I will take the pillows and I will cover up all the lights and make a really dark room. I know, sounds silly, but it can be quite helpful to keep ourselves in the sleep, being able to go to sleep. And if you're burned out, stressed out, insomnia is not uncommon, having periods and times of that. And really, truly, I'm going to say, the sugar and desserts and all that, it's not going to be helpful. Not helpful with weight, not helpful with our gut, not helpful for our brain health, and not helpful for our sleep during a season of burnout. If you have a birthday, somebody brings you a birthday cake, I'm not saying reject that. It's what you do most of the time that's going to really matter. Really, really matter. During the daytime, we do probably need to go, regardless of the season. We're in the Pacific Northwest, and winter times it can rain where we're at. We got umbrellas at the exits of every door, because you just still need to get out. Going outside, breathing, and getting outside and getting that movement is really important. The sunlight, when you're burned out, the healing that comes from the sun and manufacturing of our vitamin D. Vitamin D is so important when you're burned out. That's why I always say, blood work, check the vitamin D level. I would say we see maybe 90% of our clients who are in a low vitamin D. So work with the doctor, work with your doctor, but that's something that, replenishing that vitamin D over some time, you're probably going to notice some really good things, improve sleep and mood, etc. So, just a few thoughts as we look at how do I move beyond burnout, get back into passion and for life? Well, the next one is relationships. Where and who are my relationships that are draining or toxic or abusive? The majority of time, who am I spending time with? Are they a life-giving person? Or am I with a lot of drainers? Do I have 3 to 5 people in my life that I really feel these people support me, love me, and will be there for me? Sometimes they're people that will pray for you. Other times, these are people that just tell you the truth, and they're supportive, and they don't have any intent to ever harm you. Trusted friends versus isolation. There's a period of time when burnout and you're just not able to do some of the things you need to do, where we really do need to seek professional intervention, because it can go and slide into some pretty significant depression, lots of anxiety, and the physical complications can continue. So there is a time, if you've had the same symptoms and you're passing 6 months, I'm saying, whoa, don't go longer. This is the time to ask for help, because we need new perspective and we need accountability, but we need to make sure we're covering all the bases. The whole person, covering all the bases. Do we need to modify or change some relationships or amount of time that we're spending with certain people? Do you have a toxic person in your life that is just causing you to always feel inferior, maybe emotionally abused, and you don't feel lovable? You see, burnout lies to you and speaks to you in ways like, you're no good, I'm no good, I deserve this. Burnout begins to distort reality and cause you to believe lies. So this is the time. Let's put together a plan of hope for burnout. Let's get the information. Hey, on the website, aplaceofhope.com is a burnout questionnaire, like a burnout test. Take that. It's confidential. Take that test and begin to look at, okay, where did I score, and what are the symptoms I'm experiencing? And then the next step is, what's my baby steps I'm going to take to begin to improve my burnout score? Okay. There really, hope comes when there's a plan. Let's get the plan and let's deal with this before it does take us down a path of ultimately self-destruction, ultimately maybe addiction, and you begin to feel this period of your life where it's like it's a slippery slope down, and it really is a period ultimately of self-destruction. Let's not wait that long. Let's get the help we need. And burnout, and let me tell you, I'm all for the B vitamins. I'm all for probiotics. Work with someone who can really help steer you in the right way on some of those things. There are some great supportive supplementation and products that we've even worked with. Red Remedies. Look up Red Remedies, REDD Remedies, and just look and see what is it, because I know them and I know the high quality, but look for those things that can be of help for chronic stress. Okay, big blessings to you as you make a change from burnout to I am blessed, I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to get a plan together. And let's do that. Let's do that now.